What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the Community Shield Cup Final review and analysis video. And Liverpool lost the second final in a row at Wembley, and this really hurts because I think Liverpool could have won this game 3-1 or 4-2 had they finished their chances. And let me know, where do you see the issues with Liverpool right now going into the season? We start the Premier League campaign next Friday against Bournemouth at Anfield, again a must-win game. But I think Liverpool had this game in their palm of the hands and they just let it slip out of it because of not being clinical enough, and Liverpool have a lot of defensive issues as well. But Liverpool started the game as perfectly as possible. Already Hugo Ekitike and also Jeremy Frimpong both scored on their debuts, which is absolutely fantastic. And Hugo Ekitike looked a phenomenal striker. You can already see how much better he is than Darwin Núñez, because he's a box of tricks, a bag of tricks, and he can finish, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass as well. His game intelligence is much better than Darwin Núñez, and the way that he received the ball from Florian Wirtz, he takes a couple of touches, he waits for the perfect moment, and then he shoots into the bottom far corner between two Crystal Palace players' legs. That was just a thing of beauty. So Ekitike is off to a flyer with a goal, and he could have scored two more as well. With Kerkez's cross was headed wide by Ekitike, and also another layoff in the box was shot wide by Ekitike. He could have had a hat-trick today, and I thought he looked brilliant. He looked a handful. But Liverpool don't have another striker. That's a big problem. Liverpool don't have another number 9. So when Hugo Ekitike went off in the 71st minute, something like that, Liverpool were toothless up front. We didn't have any outlet. We didn't have any striker on the bench. Hopefully we sign Alexis Isak. Liverpool definitely need at least 2 attackers signed. And also we need a centre-back, definitely a centre-back. We didn't have a centre-back and a striker on the bench, which is worrying. And Liverpool conceded a needless penalty. Alisson saved a brilliant one-on-one after Mateta was clean through, and Alisson made a fantastic save. But then Van Dijk sticks out his leg and fouls. I think it was Sarr. He's the arch nemesis of Van Dijk. And Van Dijk had one of his poorest games in a Liverpool shirt. I'm not gonna lie, Van Dijk is an absolute legend. But this wasn't his best game at all. This was actually one of his worst games. He made a mistake for the penalty, which of course Mateta scores. And then, he stepped up before the second Crystal Palace goal pretty needlessly. Sarr raced behind Van Dijk, and there was a big gap in the defense, which Van Dijk vacated. And Sarr went through that gap and scored the equalizer. But also, Liverpool's second goal, I think that was a fluke. Jeremy Frimpong, I love him already, he's fantastic. And he scored on his debut, which is brilliant, but I think that was a cross. Szoboszlai picked him out, so Szoboszlai gets an assist, Florian Wirtz gets an assist, and Ekitike and Frimpong, 2 debutants, score, and Liverpool were in dreamland. I thought we were going to run away with this game after 20 minutes or 22 minutes. Liverpool were 2-0 up, or 2-1 up, sorry. And Liverpool were creating chances in the first half, and Jeremy Frimpong's cross looped over Dean Henderson and dropped into the back of the net. It was an absolute brilliant chip. If Frimpong meant that, I mean, that is world class. But if he didn't, then it's just a lucky goal, which of course Liverpool will take. But then, Liverpool should have scored a 3-1. As I said, Ekitike and even Florian Wirtz had a glorious chance in the second half. And what Arne Slot tried to do is, bring off Ekitike, bring on McAllister and Endo, and put Szoboszlai and Wirtz as 2 false 9s, 2 number 10s up front. And that didn't really work. The Crystal Palace really got going in the second half, and they started to create more chances, and Liverpool looked pretty vulnerable at the back, especially on our left hand side where Kerkez was always dragged out of position, and then Cody Gakpo had to track back and mark the winger. And as I said, Van Dijk made another positional error this time, not an individual error, but a positional error. Van Dijk stepped up and he vacated his position, and Ismail Assar ran through into that gap and scored past Alisson. And yeah, Van Dijk looks like he missed the last preseason game because he was ill. He didn't look like he was 100%, but thankfully we still have like 5 or 6 days before the start of the Premier League. But Liverpool need to sign a centre-back because, you know, when Konate had some pain and he was down injured, I was really worried. Like, if Konate gets injured, then Liverpool have to start the Premier League season with just one fit centre-back, and that's Van Dijk, and that's not ideal. We missed Gravenberch in this game, I think. Gravenberch is such a brilliant player. Curtis Jones as the defensive midfielder is not really his best position. Harvey Elliott came on and I felt he had some good touches and good passes, but ultimately he missed the penalty. And by the way, Mo Salah also missed an absolute glorious chance. Milos Kerkez ran past everyone in the second half. Szoboszlai picked out Kerkez, he ran up the pitch from the left wing, crosses it in, and Salah from like 13-14 yards, he had a clean shot on goal and he shoots straight down the middle, which is really unlucky. But the most frustrating thing is that Salah scored 11 of his last 12 penalties, and overall he has a record of like scoring 44 penalties out of 53 attempts, which is still a fantastic penalty taking ratio. But now he missed 2 penalties in a row, not hitting the target twice in a row, which is really strange. And not that worrying because these both games are like kind of pre-season. The Bilbao game was definitely pre-season, and this is also kind of pre-season as well. And yeah, Salah just looked a little bit like off the pace. He just couldn't get involved. I think we still need to iron out the Frimpong-Salah partnership on the right-hand side. Arne Slot also needs to work on the defensive shape and the midfield as well. But this, as I said, Curtis Jones probably won't start many games at defensive midfield for Liverpool. And Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones, not the best partnership in defensive midfield. But Salah's penalty was awful. And then McAllister's penalty was actually pretty good into the corner, but Dean Henderson saves it. Alisson also saved Eze's penalty, which was pretty brilliant. And he saved Sosa's penalty as well. No, Sosa's penalty hit the crossbar and bounced out. But Harvey Elliott's penalty, that was awful. At least he hit the target, not like Salah. So it wasn't as bad as Salah's penalty, which says it all. But still, Liverpool missing 3 of their first 4 penalties. They're like, what on earth are you doing, guys? That's awful. That's horrible. Thankfully, Szoboszlai and Gakpo scored. So yeah, still Crystal Palace won the penalty shootout. And I know it's only the Community Shield final. It's not like the big trophy. But to lose another cup final, the second cup final in a row in Arne Slot's short managerial career at Liverpool is not ideal, because twice Arne Slot turned up at Wembley and twice Liverpool lost. It's not his fault. I think Arne Slot set up the team perfectly, but Liverpool still need to sign a replacement for Luis Diaz and a replacement for Darwin Núñez, who just left, in the last week, these 2 players. So it's understandable. The transfer window is still open for another 21 days. So Liverpool have 3 weeks to sort out these issues. I think we need to sign Alexander Isak or another like world-class number 9. And Liverpool need to sign a young, promising winger who can be backup for Cody Gakpo, because we can't expect Rio Ngumoa, a 16-year-old kid, to be backup for Gakpo. And Gakpo is not like Luis Diaz. That's why the Luis Diaz-Gakpo left-wing options worked so well, because they are polar opposites as players. And I think Liverpool missed Luis Diaz's work rate. Gakpo doesn't work as hard off the ball as Luis Diaz, and sometimes he has these games where he doesn't offer enough threat and he's not really involved in the game that much. And some Liverpool fans said maybe Arne Slot should have brought on Rio Ngumoa, but I think it made sense for the last 10 minutes. to bring him on wouldn't have made a lot of sense, and also Gakpo was up for penalty taking duties, so that's why Arne Slot kept him on, which I think made sense. But overall, I think Liverpool need a left winger. I would love to see Fofana from Lyon would be a terrific signing, the left winger, I think that's his name. Alexander Isak is a must now. I mean, Hugo Ekitike is brilliant, but we can't expect him to play every 3 days as a striker. And Liverpool don't have another striker at the moment, so we definitely need one. And I think we need a centre-back as well. Mark Gay looked fantastic in this game. He looked sensational. Some of his defensive interceptions and his diagonal passes were fantastic as well. Van Dijk is like 34 years old, and Konate can be injured as well. Liverpool can't go into the season with just 2 fit centre-backs. I'm sorry, but that's not an ideal solution, ideal scenario. Liverpool need to work on the defensive shape as well. I think Kerkez and Frimpong did really well. Liverpool need a defensive midfielder like Gravenberch to sit back, and that's not the natural game of Szoboszlai, and it's not in the natural game of Curtis Jones either, to just sit back as the third centre-back, sometimes in attack, and protect that back too, because when Kerkez and Frimpong bump forward, there is just huge gaps in the Liverpool half, and Liverpool got countered so many times in pre-season and in this game as well, and he's over the top through balls where Liverpool lose the ball, and we don't have Szoboszlai as a number 10 to high press the opposition. Florian Wirtz, I thought, was absolutely fantastic. He glided across the pitch fabulously in the first half. Second half, he faded a little bit. He was substituted as well. So Florian Wirtz, of course, will get used to his teammates. I mean, we expected this. Liverpool have 4 new players in the starting 11, so there will be bumps in the road. And I don't expect Liverpool to maybe win the first 8 games in the Premier League. Sometimes we will drop points. The most important thing is that the side looks fantastic going forward. We just need to iron out these defensive errors and defensive mistakes. And also we need to work on the defensive shape so we don't get countered as much, because if Liverpool end up in many games where there are a lot of goals scored, both for Liverpool and against Liverpool, that's not an ideal situation or scenario, because then it becomes very difficult to win the Premier League, because you can drop a lot of points if you concede 2 or 3 goals every game, because you won't score 2 or 3 or 4 goals every game. I mean, Liverpool are capable of doing that, but you can't expect to score 3 or 4 goals every game and win that way when you concede 2 goals. So Liverpool need to iron out all of these mistakes, and that's the job of Arne Slot and the managerial staff. So I'm still very much excited for the season. This is just a small bump in the road. It wasn't a major cup final like the League Cup final, so it doesn't hurt as much, but still it is painful to lose another cup final at Wembley. But I also read the statistic that only one of the last 14 Community Shield winners ended up winning the Premier League trophy, and that was Man City in 2018-19 season. So if that's what it takes for Liverpool to win the Premier League again, then I'm fine losing to Community Shield. Of course, Liverpool will be judged at the end of this season and not at the beginning. So it wasn't even a bad performance, just maybe a bad second half performance. I think Liverpool just a little bit took their foot off the gas, if you like. I think in the second half we thought we will see the game out 2-1 and just conserve energy that way. But that's not the approach that I want to see from Liverpool. I think we should really go for it and get the 3-1, and then the game would have been over. And we had the chances to do so. Salah, Ekitike, Florian Wirtz all could have scored the third goal to make this a home run for Liverpool. But ultimately, Crystal Palace, congratulations. You win your second trophy in 3 months after not winning a trophy for all your existence. So they deserve their flowers and their spotlight, because Crystal Palace are doing a fantastic job beating Man City and then Liverpool in 2 cup finals in a row at Wembley. For a small team like Crystal Palace, that's a magnificent achievement. So congratulations to them. And now bring on the Premier League. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.